Hi, my name is Erik Andrade, and I live in Ward 4 of New Bedford. And in September 16th of 2013, Everett Hogan had told me there was an important meeting that was going on downtown at the National Park. I went to that meeting, and at that meeting, there was folks from a corporation called Hal Keen that were running a steering committee around cultural district ideas and what the outline of a cultural district would look like in the city. And in that room, there was a very minimum amount of people from our community. As been said by many people, this is a large community with a lot of different voices. And at that table, and in that discussion, as Mr. Berger had talked about the importance of not just trying to get a seat at the table, but build our own tables, it was brought up that if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. And that steering committee was largely all people that were inside of the downtown district, and the warning that was given was that this district, in their definition of why they were doing it, would increase property value. Increasing property value is something that harms our community in many ways. We have people that have lived in this community, worked in the school system for 30 years, retired, bought a home, they have a retirement income, and now because a corporation from outside of the community is all of a sudden given a large amount of finances through cultural districts from our culture that was put on the menu, but we didn't benefit from it, has increased the property value dramatically in our community, and we've seen a rapid increase in the gentrification in our community. As such, we have a lot of prospectors that are buying homes above market rate. And the way that tax assessment works is that your taxes are based upon the value that the free market defines your house to have a value of. So that being said, the free market is not somewhere that deals with justice and equality. It's a place that deals with capital interest of capitalists, which could harm our community in the sense that your property tax could go up dramatically in your retirement, then you get behind on your taxes, and then people can actually purchase your tax liability, and they can charge interest on that taxes. And then if you couldn't pay the taxes, you can't pay the taxes plus the interest. And this is how capitalists have gentrified communities. On top of the gentrification that's already happened, the new gentrification that's going to really hit and impact in December, the tax assessors are driving around taking pictures of homes. And if someone buys a home in your neighborhood on Pleasant Street, there was a home that was recently purchased by a corporation from Newport. They painted the outside of the building, just paint. The rent went up $100 for the tenants. And what I was told by the tax assessor in the city is that it would not just impact that home, but the homes next to it would be impacted by that increased tax value. The families that live next to the Cisco establishment, that's a multi, I don't even know the price tag on it, but I'm going to say that increased the property value in that neighborhood. So now you have communities that have been there for a long time that are going to be dealing with the impact. The blessing of somebody else should not be the curse of somebody else. My proximity to wealth should not define the taxes I pay. So how is a community where people have given their taxes, and taxpayers are not just the homeowners, the renters have been paying rent to homeowners that own a business. That business is a profitable business, and off that profit, they pay their taxes. So every citizen that pays rent in the city is paying taxes, property taxes in the city. Some are paying it indirectly through a tenant bill, and some of them are paying it as a homeowner. But the reality is these prices are going to go up dramatically, and we've already seen an influx. A gentleman this summer had told me that some of the one-bedroom apartments have gone up almost double what they were beforehand. And with the rail coming and now the property value being assessed based on this model, which is defined by Department of Revenue, is basically a model that it doesn't serve the people. Taxes are created so that the people can collectively pool their wealth together, and that wealth can be used to meet the needs of the people. If the taxes are pushing people out that actually built this city and have lived in this city for a long time, simply because all of a sudden rich people value our homes, especially considering the fact that in communities like this community where Alfred Gomes School is, communities of colors were divested in, and also were negatively impacted by the tax assessment by the industry, so that people didn't have equity in their homes and value in their homes to put their kids through college, to repair their roof, to take care of a health and loved one when they were sick. So we've been negatively impacted by the market, saying that communities and homes that are owned by non-white people are worth less. And now, in the back end, we've been divested in the city. We've been locked out of a lot of opportunity, and these property taxes are going to really impact us. So this is something that's really a concern. And I know and I understand that the tax assessor is tied by what the Department of Revenue states is the way that properties are valued. I was reading articles that were written 15 years ago in the city that were saying that people were proposing the idea of having an income tax and a commuter tax instead of a property tax, because this reality, and I don't know what the answer is, but there has to be a different model than this, because this model is not based on fairness, it's not based on equity, and it's harming our community and will dramatically harm our community moving forward. I do not want to be a politician, but I saw that no one was running for this position, and this conversation is a conversation I think that is really important that people need to have. So I willingly sacrifice and put myself in a position to run for this because I'm concerned about how fastly our community is being erased. People cannot afford to live here. People that have been here for generations that have made a dramatic impact in this community were facing eviction this year. The number of, there was 500 people, I believe, that was facing eviction this summer. And this property tax and how we assess property value is going to harm a lot of people. And we need to have someone on the inside that is actually thinking about these things. I haven't met the other candidate that's running, and I hope it's something that she'd be open to, because it's not about individuality, it's about the ideas and the impact that these ideas will have moving forward on people.
Thank you, sir. Erik, you've spoken a lot of truth. I mean, there are some real issues about property values in the city. So, what skills do you think you bring to the office that might force a change?
I think that a key skill is critical thinking. And like in the conversation I had with the tax assessor I ran into on Pleasant Street while they were doing the assessment, in that conversation and having a conversation, the realization is that the problem is the design is flawed. And I'm somebody that if something's flawed, I'm not afraid to address the flaw and to try to organize to change the way that we think. If we don't change our consciousness around this issue and have a consciousness around that, then we won't make that change. And I think that that's a skill set. And then an addition is advocacy. And it's going to take something that is not just a city issue, it's a statewide issue. If it's a Department of Revenue, so it requires that we advocate on not just a local level, but on a state level. And in addition, I think it's the empathy I have for the people that are here. I have a sincere empathy for the people that are here and concerned about how they're being pushed out. So it's about, even within those systems, there is opportunities possibly for some folks to not be paying as much taxes, especially senior citizens and such. And I don't know how many of the people in our community know about those opportunities. And that's something I'm very adamant about protecting our vulnerable populations, and our vulnerable populations, as we're seeing, are being pushed out. We're seeing more and more people on the streets because of this increase in the rents and the stress that's going on. We're seeing more addiction because of these stresses of financial stresses. And also we're seeing a lot of elders that are sacrificing food for mortgages or heat in a house.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.